if your last 7 relationships didn't work and you know that you're a good dude or you're a good woman and odds is just not in your favor every relationship you get in, it's just a total failure. But you know, like deep down in your heart, like I'm a good person. I think that you should change your blueprint. I think whatever you been doing the last 7 times, whether you've met all your girlfriends in the strip club, stop dating strippers. You know, if you know that, okay, yeah, I'm a good person, but I allow people to walk all over me. Make sure when you get in your next relationship that you're more assertive. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a woman and you know that every time you get with a man, you end up moving into his house or you end up moving him into your house. How about you take a different route and just say, I'm gonna live by my goddamn self. You know, knowing that you move too fast when when you're in relationships. How about you take the time this time and make him your friend? Don't have sex with him. Make him your friend. Get to know him. Get to know what he likes, what he doesn't like, his favorite this, his favorite that. Be his friend. I think so many times people fail at relationships because they don't become friends first. You don't know your partner. Mm-hmm. I don't care how long you've been with them. Yo, I'm going to give you the crazy example. You ever met someone and befriended them and said, it feels like I've known you forever?
Yeah.
Because you guys are friends. You guys have taken the time to understand each other, to understand things that the average person isn't pinpointing because they don't care. Mm-hmm. So when you're dating or you're in a relationship, there's certain things you already have set in your mind that you care about and you want to know. You're not looking to know these other things. And so when it fails, you're like, what did I do wrong? I was great. You know what I mean? I'm a great person. Like, no, you weren't. You weren't my friend first. Like, I think people need to take time to get to know the person that they're trying to get involved with. People are doubling the block and going back to their ex because it's familiar, because they're not ready to do the self-work to fix what they need to fix so they can attain and keep and be the person for the person that they really want. They're so comfortable. And again, it goes back to settling. So I'm going to double back to my ex where I know his formula already. I don't have to do any extra work. I already know I can put it on the stove, put the green and rice in the water, put the water, let it cook. I got rice. But it takes more work to make jambalaya.
They say it's hard. Well, I read somewhere that it's easier for people to hate than to love because loving takes a level of vulnerability and no one wants to be vulnerable.
I've been lazy in relationships before where I've totally neglected the work that needed to be done to make it super successful. Because it's a lot of work to be in a relationship. It's easier to fail at it. It's easier to be toxic. It's easier to hate than to love. It's easier to argue. It's easier to be mad at each other than to be madly in love. What the fuck is wrong with us? Who has brainwashed us to be this way? Because when we see people blissfully in love, gazing into each other's eyes and saying, I'd rather be nowhere else than here, it's unbelievable to us. They're like, this is not fucking real. He must be cheating. She got to be not really happy. Oh, she's only there for the money. And it's like, we have conditioned ourselves to say that this can't be real because too much work goes into being in love. And I'm just convinced that majority of society is pure lazy. And that's why they can't find love. And that's why they can't find their ideal person. And that's why they can't stay in a healthy relationship, because it's too much work. It's too much work to come to an agreement and say, even if we can't be together, we can co-parent because we have children and we have a common denominator, which is a child's health. It's easier for me to say, fuck you, hate you, you're not going to see your child at all. And let's go back and forth to court. Court actually is more work and costs more money. It's cheaper to get along. Mm-hmm. It's cheaper to have a partner. It's cheaper to have someone to bounce ideas off of. It's easier to have someone support you. Actually. But people will never, it's this wheel that I learned about why most people never have a successful business or never become entrepreneurs, because they get to the halfway mark, and once they realize that real work has to go into it and all the fluff is gone, they no longer want to do it. So most people stop at the halfway mark when it comes to building a business, because failure comes in. You understand what I'm saying? And disappointment comes in, and that gets thrown in the pot, and it makes it more difficult. It's easier to say, fuck it. I don't want to continue doing this business because I'm scared of what's the other side. But most people never get to the winning because they can't get over the halfway mark. They can't get past the trials and tribulations. They can't get past the disappointment. They can't get past the fact that I'm not going to be super great at everything. This is why I have to bring in Susan, who's great in marketing. This is why I have to bring in Tom, who's great at digital. I have to bring in whatever your business consists of. You have to bring in these other people who doesn't make you less of a boss. It really makes you the boss, because you know what people to put in position to make your business, your relationship successful. So it's just like marriages. When we see people not get divorced, but go through problems in the relationship, and then they go to therapy, and now they're still married, and you be like, how did you guys work through this? And it's like, because they put the right people into their business to make it successful. So when it got to the halfway mark, which is, even though marriage, it's crazy, you think that's the whole way, but it isn't. It's just halfway. Because once you get into marriage, it's like, okay, now we got to stay married. We only halfway in. We got to stay married. We got to keep whatever whatever got us here. Don't let it break us. And so now we know, like, okay, it's going to get tougher. We got to bring in reinforcement. We got to call the pastor. We got to get a therapist. We got to bring in somebody that can delegate and help us stay together. Mm-hmm. People don't want to do the work, and that's why they'll never find love.
Well, Holiday, let me ask you, when do you feel like we got to that place where we're like literally settling? Because we don't do that everywhere in life.
It's not settling. It's just what you want, willing to tolerate, and how big of an impact is that tolerating going to affect your relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I can tolerate that my man's laying in the bed and didn't cut his toenails and hasn't had a pedicure in the month. What I cannot tolerate is him going places and not letting me know where he is or what's going on or when he's coming back. Not because I need to know his every move. It's because we're a partnership. You understand? This is a teamwork. Some people don't know how to play for the same team. They've been playing for the opposite team so long in their life that they have no clue what it is to play for the same team. We're both trying, and this is why I think a lot of people are not successful. I know a lot of people out there will be like, there's no way she'll find a man or whatever, and you just have to stay tuned to see if I am in a relationship, and if and am I getting married, or all those things happening in my life, because I keep my personal life personal. But the narrative of like that, you got to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to tolerate certain things in my relationship, and there's going to be some things that I'm not going to tolerate, but I know that I think people settle because they've never had it. So they settle because they never seen what it looks like to win. I think that's like the ultimate. Like, if you've never seen what it looks like to finish the race, then you're always going to be stopping at the halfway mark, and you're going to always be settling. And I always tell girls, right? Like, I just use like looks and stuff, like because girls come to me a lot about like surgery and BBLs and all this stuff like that, and then I watch them after lipo and surgery be drinking liquor and eating a whole bunch of crazy shit or whatever, like the day after, and I'm like, give yourself a chance to be a bad bitch. You did all this work, you did all this surgery, you did all of that. Give yourself, go to the gym, maintain it, put in the work to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself a shot. But again, I think people settle because they've never seen what it looks like to finish the race. They've never seen what it looks like to fucking win. They've never seen what it looks like to be their best self. Right. And you got to be your best self to have a successful relationship. Because I think that you're expecting it to be always lilies and flowers and all this stuff that it's not what you do, it's how you do. So it's how I solve a problem. There's going to be problems, but it's how I solve them. So a flat tire to you may be like, just call AAA. You understand what just call AAA. It's okay. You know what I mean? A bursted pipe to you is just like, we live in a condo. It's called maintenance. They'll be here by Friday. What is the new year looking like for you? Are you going to be great in 2023? Did you lose a lot? Did you gain a lot in 2022? What kind of moves are you making to change those losses for wins in 2023? Are we settling for certain things just to be with a certain type of man? Are we giving ourselves self-love to attract the man that we want for our lives? I just think it's important as women and as men and as people who love themselves just to be your best self and give your all. So I need you guys to, before we start this episode, you already know what I need you to do. Click, like, subscribe, comment, share. I need you to do all of that.